Payson, Arizona always gives me weird vibes.
Proof that Hollywood is evil.
Hey, Segovia, back with another one. Hope everyone out there's having a good New Year's Eve, y'all. We got a good one coming up for you guys today. We got some Minnesota fraud. We got some pizza tattoos. I mean, this is the last video of the year, y'all. God only knows what's going to happen tomorrow. But don't worry, we'll get into it. But make sure you guys watch from start to finish. Y'all really helps the channel grow. But with that being said, let's do what we came here for. Let's get into the video. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
So there is a $1 billion fraud scheme going on in Minnesota involving daycares. But you guys, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Let's get into it. So let me bring you up to speed. So this independent journalist and YouTuber by the name of Nick Shirley goes to Minnesota and exposes hundreds of daycares that get federal funding, like millions of dollars, but have no kids at all. And you guys, it is so bad and it's so blatant. He goes to this daycare center that's supposed to say Quality Learning Center, but it says Leering Center. And mind you, this place has no windows. It looks like a prison, and the only door you do see, it's completely blacked out. Now, the Leering Center has been hit with 95 violations between 2019 and 2023, but has still received over $7 million. Oh, but it gets worse, you guys. So another place he visited called Sweet Angel Childcare used to have a number, but it doesn't anymore. I found a video where they called the number, and guess where it goes to? Tim Walz. Tim Walz's office, you guys, and I had to test this theory myself to verify.
The office of Governor Tim Walz and Lieutenant Governor.
And let's not forget, he said this, where he said Minnesota's economy does not work without childcare providers, so we're giving them a raise. We're all sure of that now. Now, with all these daycares not having any children, it is imperative to note that 3,000 to 4,000 kids per year go missing in Minnesota, but that's another rabbit hole for another day. But it gets even weirder. Do you guys remember this Minnesota lawmaker by the name of Melissa Hortman?
I know that people will be hurt by that vote, and I'm,
who was the only Democrat who voted against Minnesota Care, which cuts the funding for healthcare for illegals. Well, guess what? She was murdered. Oh, it's all starting to make sense now, doesn't it? And mind you, they never caught the killer, who they said was impersonating a cop who had a police cruiser, but it smells like an inside job. Now, I'm getting hundreds of DMs to look into other states because they said Ohio's even worse. I mean, can anybody tell me why this daycare center in Columbus, Ohio is located at a smoke shop? And here's another one for good measure with blacked out windows, just this truck in front with no other cars, no play place, nothing. And not to mention, there's over 500 daycares in Washington that have no physical address at all, so there's that. I mean, it really makes you wonder how Kamala Harris raised $1 billion in 3.5 months with Tim Walz being her running mate. And it's pretty full circle because she did try to pay me off in this email during election time with that allegedly dirty money. Make sure you guys go to my YouTube, The Maverick Approach, because I'm doing a deeper dive on all this, but
Y'all, anywhere there's government funding, there's going to be fraud, there's going to be scams. But what sucks is, what pisses me off is, that's our money. That's our hard-earned money that these, not only Somalis are frauding us, but the damn governors, the people that run the states. It ain't just there. Like you said, it's not just Democratic states. Believe me, if Democrats are taking all that money, the damn Republicans are doing the same damn thing, y'all. And this is what I always say, every damn video over here. When are we going to come together? When are we going to stop saying Kamala and Tim? When are we going to say all of them? Because that's our money. That's our money. I pay a lot of money in taxes, y'all. That's our money that we work hard for. And they're just stealing it because of government funding.
you guys think below.
The days of YouTubers not being considered real journalists are long gone, because what's just happened today in the Minnesota fraud scandal is wild. So earlier this month, as reported by the Associated Press, federal prosecutors said that half of the $18 billion in federal funds that was given to 14 different Minnesota-run programs, we're talking disability care, addiction treatment centers, food for the underprivileged, childcare, etc. They believe that half of that may have been stolen. They said
the magnitude of the fraud in Minnesota cannot be overstated. Staggering amounts of money that have been lost.
But for the American taxpayers, those were just words. That is until a 23-year-old YouTuber, Nick Shirley, posted a video that for millions of people suddenly made it feel real. Nick went to multiple daycare centers in the region which he claimed had taken millions in state funding to look after hundreds of children. But when he entered, they were deserted. No children were found. Now, not only did this post go instantly viral, it got 116 million views on X and 1.9 million views on YouTube, but it was also seen and shared by huge political figures on the right, including Elon Musk and Vice President J.D. Vance. Even the U.S. Attorney General acknowledged Nick's video on X, saying that 98 individuals, 85 of which are Somali, have been charged in this fraud investigation. But today, it's gone even further because the DHS is now on the ground in Minneapolis going door to door at suspected fraud sites, even telling CNN that this was triggered in part because of Nick's video.
This Anthony Joshua car crash might be deeper than you think. I want you guys to keep in mind it's only been a little over a week since Anthony Joshua put Jake Paul on his you-know-what, broke his jaw in front of the entire world live on pay-per-view. Many people, including myself, believe that Anthony Joshua on the night of the pay-per-view decided to go into business for himself and go against the script that was written for the fight and take out Jake Paul to one-up him and just show him, like, you're not made for boxing, man. Do we really think it's just one giant coincidence that literally 1 week later, Anthony Joshua barely makes it out of this car wreck and two of his closest team members are actually passed away because of said car wreck? It has been claimed for years that Hollywood type of people and companies can do certain things to cars to make things look like an accident, when in all actuality, they're actually messing with the car to make it look like that. I just can't be the only one who thinks it's one hell of a coincidence. 1 week ago, he embarrasses Jake Paul, breaks his jaw on national pay-per-view in front of millions of people, and goes against what he was supposed to do. Jake Paul being one of the biggest commodities in all of Hollywood, boxing, entertainment right now, any way you chalk it up. Hypothetically speaking, this crash to me, it looks like more of a warning than anything. Comment below, let me know, am I on to something or am I tripping?
I mean, it could be, y'all. I wish I would have put that clip in here. I just remembered it right now. But there's a clip of when he fought Mike Tyson, right? They're saying when he sticks his tongue out, that he always does. That's like in wrestling, they do little cues, to let them know, like, relax or whatever. When he sticks his tongue out, Mike Tyson, like, that kind of means like you're going a little too hard, like, calm down, right? Because when he did that to Mike Tyson, like, from the camera angle, Mike Tyson, like, goes like, okay, like, I get the cue. But when he did it to Anthony Joshua, he laughed and shook his head like, you're in my world now. Like, he laughed like, no, you messed up. And that's when he knocks him out. So now I'm not saying that could be a coincidence that he got in an accident, but that is a tall tale sign. When he sticks his tongue out, like, that means like you're going too hard. And when he did that to Tyson went like, okay, and he eased off. And when he did that to Anthony Joshua, he laughed and shook his head like, nope. And then he was supposed to really fight Tank Davis, right? He was supposed to fight Tank Davis, but Tank Davis said, I'm not gonna play this game with you. Like, if we're gonna box, we're gonna box. I'm not gonna play this game of let you beat me and ruin my career, right? I got a loss to a YouTuber, a professional boxer. So I don't know, y'all. It could be something to look a little deeper in this Anthony Joshua thing.
Wake up.
This is pretty bizarre. I don't know who has seen this or not, but at the most recent UFC fight during the pre-show on the Vegas Sphere, they ran some pretty questionable wording and they did it at lightning speed, almost like subliminal messaging. So I'm going to play it at normal speed. I'm going to play just a clip of it and then we'll slow it down and really see what they have to say.
Investing with the UCPI in Mexico, he sees what they do, how they show up, how they support their fans. So it's amazing to me to see the growth of the sport. The Mexican fighters are here. The Mexican-born fighters are...
And slowed.
Japan, chaos.
They're pretty obvious.
Death is inevitable. I kill.
The people that would say it's just words. It's not just words.
You know.
Why would you put those things in there? Everything has meaning, and everything in this world right now is trying to just detour us off the path of God and get us away. Even this stuff, even the subliminal stuff. Right here.
Social media is an antichrist. bloody.
All intentional.
Can't even say these things on YouTube because it'll get blocked.
Pretty sad.
But they're allowed to put it on national TV on UFC. The Grand Canyon, y'all. That's a trip. Forgot to put music. Bad editing on my part last night. Apologize. Did you guys see that? Tree moving?
Prince, William Shatner, Puff Daddy, and Mick Jagger on the same stage. That is the sign of the apocalypse. Thank you. Thank you. That is the end of the world as we know it.
The enemy will always camouflage truth in jest. This is a perfect example of it. I mean, look at all the stuff that's come out about that said person that they're talking about, and look how they're trying to laugh it off and make a joke about it in this video. Very serious incidents that have ruined and destroyed victims' and families' lives. These guys are agents that work for the enemy and are not to be trusted. None of them. They all know what goes on, and they all know to keep it because they don't want anyone coming and taking away their slice of that putrid pie. So when gazing into worldly affairs, just remember there's only one person you can trust, and that's God.
How did we do it, Sarah? How did we get the whole world to worship and follow what we are worshiping and following? How? I mean, when you control everything, it's not that hard, right? Right. For example, take graduations, for example. There's a reason why we make college graduates wear the black robe, right? Obviously, the black robe and the squared cap, the cap and gown, it signifies the planet Saturn. Right. Saturn signifies time. Right. Remember, that's where the Grim Reaper comes from, the planet Saturn. Saturn signifies time and death and reaping what you sow. That's why the Supreme Court, right, is all about all them wearing black robes. Has to do with them judging you. The planet Saturn is about judgment. We've been doing this for like what, over 6,000 years now? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. That's why when we made the Bible, we made sure it stated that 144,000 people will be saved. The planet Saturn is housed 144 birth charts. And the idiots think there's gonna be a rapture. Right. We told them about Santa Claus, Santa living in the North Pole. What else has a North Pole? The planet Saturn. The planet Saturn has a North Pole. And it goes around and round and around counterclockwise. Like in Mecca, right? When they go do pilgrimage in Islam, they go round and round and round 7 times across around the Kaaba. The energy we harness from these things are wonderful. Exactly. And how about in the Bible when we said Jesus sends out 72 disciples? And in the Hadith in Islam, the martyrs are guaranteed 72 virgins or wives, right? Get it? 72 demons in the Goetia. The earth moves 1 degree on its axis every 72 years. The metaphors is ridiculous. And even when you graduate from college, right? The 3rd highest degree of college is a master's degree. Like the 3rd degree in Freemasonry is the Master Mason. Now that's my favorite one. That's my favorite one. This is wonderful. We got them all to follow what we're following. They don't understand it. In Hebrew, they wear the black cube on their foreheads. It gets to a point where I think the whole world is just ball knowledge. Elite ball knowledge. Too bad humanity will never wake up and see what we're doing. Of course, of course. Even if they do find out, we'll just destroy them all. Right. Next Sunday. Next Sunday, December 7th. We are on for that. Next Sunday goes down. Next Sunday. It goes down. All right. We'll see you then. The bullets are ready.
Kobe Bryant was about to start his own sneaker company that was going to be owned by the players themselves. He was murdered in that helicopter crash with his daughter. Rest in peace to both of them. About 1 week before he was about to release the first Kobe ones of his own sneaker brand. I saw a picture of them too. They was hot. Oh, they would have outsold Nike. So So they had to kill Kobe before he released that sneaker. And Kobe Bryant was going to start his own professional basketball association headquartered where? China, America's arch nemesis. And Kobe Bryant was the Michael Jordan of China. Michael Jordan was not more popular than no athlete. Kobe Bryant was the most popular athlete in the world in China. He was Michael Jordan in China. They could not let Kobe start that league, Art. The Chinese economy is stronger than the American economy. If Kobe Bryant would have took a basketball league to China, America would have been done. Kobe didn't realize it, Art, but he was interfering with America's geopolitical and global aspirations. So Kobe had to die. They had to stop him from starting the league, stop him from coming out with the Nike. Whitney Houston was murdered because Whitney Houston was, she was going to order an audit on all her earnings. She felt like she had been robbed. She also wanted her masters back, and she wanted her publishing back. Jimi Hendrix was murdered, and they used the snow bunny to get him too, in a pool. Jimi Hendrix and Whitney Houston died almost identically. Almost identically. Jimi Hendrix, we found out, his manager was British Secret Service MI6, who was a white supremacist, who had already talked about possibly unaliving Jimi Hendrix because Jimi Hendrix wouldn't do what he wanted him to do, and Jimi Hendrix wanted to finance the Black Panthers. Jimi Hendrix was going to finance the Black Panthers. Sam Cooke was murdered because Sam Cooke didn't want to give the mafia control of his music, and he also was going to finance Dr. King and Malcolm X once they came together. So they killed Sam Cooke about 6 to 8 weeks before they killed Malcolm. They killed Sam Cooke, and then they killed Malcolm, because Sam Cooke was going to be the financier for Malcolm and Martin, who were about to come together.
Payson, Arizona always gives me weird vibes.
Now, I was planning on moving to Payson, Arizona, so I'm very anxious. I didn't watch this whole clip. I never watched the whole clip show. I watched like the first 10 seconds. It fits the vibe of the, the vibe of the channel. It gets put on here. I'm very interested to learn about this Payson, Arizona, because I didn't know it was creepy like that.
I don't know what it is about that place, but every time I go there, I feel uneasy. Now,
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful mountain town,
Yeah.
but it's also very secluded. And it happens to be home to one of the most famous alien abduction cases. But there was a really creepy story that I heard out of the Payson area. There was this man named John. John said that his grandfather owned this 100-acre ranch outside of Payson. And he said he had hired this Native American man to take care of his sheep. And he lived there on this ranch in a small trailer. Well, one day, John's grandfather goes out to check on this man. And so he drives through the mountains out to his ranch. And when he arrives to the trailer, he is shocked to see that all of his sheep have been slaughtered and they are missing their skin. Something had basically taken the fur off. And he immediately thinks that something is wrong. So he jumps out of his truck and he goes to the trailer and he finds that it's locked. He starts banging on the door, calling for this man. He can't get in. So he goes around to a window, he breaks out the window, and he gets inside the trailer. And there he finds this man huddled in the corner, terrified, shaking, and in very bad shape. He said this man kept saying this one word over and over again, and he couldn't understand what he was saying. It was his language, and he didn't know what it meant. So he tries talking to this guy, but the guy is just in too bad of shape. So he gets him in his truck. He says, I need to get him somewhere and get him some help. He starts leaving the trailer, starts going down this mountainous road. And all of a sudden, he looks out the right side of the window, and he sees something running alongside the truck. He describes it as a deer that's been flipped inside out, and it is running on two legs. And it was keeping pace with his truck, and he's going about 45 miles an hour. And he said this thing kept following them, and he, accelerated up to 60, up to 70, and it was still keeping pace with him. He said that's when this man started saying that same word over and over again that he was saying in the trailer. And he realized he is saying what he thinks this thing is. He's calling it by its name or whatever it is. Finally, this thing runs in front of the truck. His grandfather swerves, goes off the mountain, and they crash. The man who worked for his grandfather, he passed away. And so he was never able to talk to him about what had happened. His grandfather managed to live to tell the tale. But shortly after that, his grandfather sold that ranch and would never go back to that place.
There is a totally real conspiracy that's happening right now that not a ton of people are talking about, and it's none of the ones you're thinking. It doesn't really even involve any politicians. It will not cause you emotional distress, and it will probably not even stress you out that much. I just think it's kind of interesting. The demand for trading cards is literally the highest that it's ever been, which is crazy because in the 1990s, everything was a trading card. 2 years ago, you could get a new set of Pokemon cards for $5, which is roughly
Now
50
they're like
cents per
300.
card. But right now, if you go to the store, if you can find one of the newer sets, it's going to be $10 or more.
But if you try to buy a deck of an unopened Pokemon from the 90s, those are like $300, right? $300, and there might not even be an expensive card in there. It's the gamble that people are addicted to. I watch them on YouTube on the shorts, y'all. People are, it's like gambling. They'll pay that 300 just to go through the cards and hope for that holographic.
That's $1 per card for these little pieces of printed cardboard. And it's not just Pokemon cards, it's sports cards, and newer or lesser known card games like One Piece. They are all facing this like supply and demand crisis. And a lot of this supply and demand crisis is because people realized that they could go to the store, buy 100 packs of cards, open them on the internet for views, use the money that they get from those views to reinvest and buy more Pokemon cards and use it as a way of like pretty decent income. If those people get a rare or highly sought after card, they might send it to PSA, which is a collectible grading service. They get a score from 1 to 10, they put it in one of these little plastic cases, and then that card is then substantially more valuable. If you want a clear example of how much more valuable a 10 can be than a 9, here's a good one. That guy bought this card for $5.3 million. It is a grade 10. It's the best version you can get. It is currently worth $7 to $12 million because the market for cards is way up. However, if you wanted to go buy a PSA 9 copy, you could do so for $475,000. That is exponentially less money. PSA has started to supply stores like GameStop with graded cards directly, and that's where the conspiracy is. I don't collect trading cards, but let's pretend that I do for a second. So let's just imagine that I send 30 cards to PSA. They grade all 30 of them, and they send me an email that says, you know what, we like these 15, we'll give you fair market value for them, and we'll send you back the other 15 that we don't want. That's what they've started doing, and a lot of people have found it to be a really convenient way to sell their cards because it cuts out all the work of having to put them on eBay or some other similar site. But what if PSA graded my cards at a 9, sent me a fair market value offer for them that I accepted, and then they artificially changed that number to a 10 and sold them for substantially more money? And that's exactly what has happened in at least one case, and probably even more. One collector has at least gone to social media with the receipts of all their transactions to point out what has happened to them. So they sent in 30 cards to PSA. They were all graded a 9. He took a direct market value offer from PSA, but he got curious because he is a hardcore collector and thought it was strange that they all got graded a 9. So he looked up the serial numbers for all of the cards and realized that PSA had turned around and made them 10s and was selling them for substantially more than he got offered for the cards. So that's totally weird and shady and raises a ton of ethical questions about this business model, so naturally you'd think people would go to another card grading service, like Beckett. Beckett has been purchased by PSA, which gives PSA 80% of the market value for card grading. And for perspective, historically speaking, the monopolies that started all of our antitrust laws, those companies owned about 90% of their markets. The only reason that PSA is able to do this is because even though they own Beckett, they are allowing Beckett to operate as an independent company underneath their corporate umbrella. I don't even collect trading cards. I've just been reading about this and following this story, and I think it's incredibly interesting, and I'm so excited to see where it goes in the courts because there's no way it doesn't end up there for one reason or another.
See, that sucks, right? That sucks that, like you said, you can do this on eBay and do it yourself. It's just more convenient to go through them. But even if you do it on your own, that 10 or 9 grade that they give it, you'll never get that value because their word is bond in other people's eyes that are buying, right? So you're going to get 100,000 for it, that same card. But if PSA says it's a 9, you'll get 400 to 700,000 for it. But you'll never get that if you do it on your own. That's what sucks about these corporations, y'all. Just because they have the quote unquote experience, they're going to be able to and then they turn around and give it a 10. That's when they sell it as a 10, tell you it's a 9, and they sell it as a 10. So they give you 700,000 and they turn around and sell it for 7 million. It's capitalism. That's corporate greed, y'all. That's us versus them, and there's nothing you can do about it. Because if you go sell it on eBay, you're gonna get 1/3 of the price.
Feeding your kids plastic glue and industrial lubricants. I'm talking about Oreos that cream in the middle. It's not cream at all. It's rapeseed oil whipped with emulsifiers that act like edible glue, holding the sludge together, and the cookie part, stripped cocoa and chemical stabilizers enough to start clogging your arteries if you eat them too much. I scanned them with the Reveal It app, and it came back as 82% processed. This is unbelievable.
Speaking of high-profile car accidents, trust me, don't go anywhere. Have you seen this? By the way, it's completely unrelated, not relevant whatsoever. It's really the second part you need to watch, but watch the whole thing. I actually just found out it's copyright, so let me tell you what he says in this interview. He's talking about the first part, how the CIA is controlling our phone, listening to what we're saying, our technology, our TVs, but even crazier and completely unrelated, he's talking about how the CIA can remote control your cars and your vehicles from wherever they are, make them go off cliffs, make them go into trees, etc., disappear. And before we get to the even more ridiculous part, it's not just your modern cars. They can control decades-old mechanical cars. Oh, you thought it had to be brand new cars? You have no idea the technology that these people have. For instance, artificial intelligence is not artificial, they've been using it for centuries. Now on to a completely unrelated and separate topic. John from News Updates for Real made this insane video talking about this curse that follows anybody that fights Jake Paul for some reason. Want to hear how it gets really weird? They all end up having financial problems, deportation, sickness, and even death.
Wouldn't it be crazy if all of the fighters who fight Jake Paul end up befalling some sort of terrible tragedy shortly before or after the fight? Crazy if Mike Tyson almost died before the fight. He had 8 blood transfusions, lost half his blood. Nate Robinson went completely silent after Jake Paul's fight. No, Ben Askren had lung failure and nearly died. Tyler Woodley declared bankruptcy. Tommy Fury had his life wrecked, marriage ended, career tanked.
It's like there's some element in the world that's opposing and against these people that are fighting Jake Paul. Completely unrelated from the first part of the video. I really wonder what that element could be.
Well, I mean, maybe it's a little bit of selling your soul, right? Because Mike Tyson's kind of selling out, right? Would have knocked his ass out. There's plenty of footage of like clear openings that he even made the twitch because it's just natural, right? You can't control your natural instincts, and he made that twitch like he would have got him. So that's in a way selling your soul, right? You're not gonna beat this guy. You're gonna, you get the excuse you're 60 years old, whatever, but for the quick dollar, right? You can't be mad at him, right? I mean, I'm not that you're not selling your soul, but you gotta make some money. You're old, right? You're getting out. I don't know, y'all, but maybe that could be a reason why these downfalls happen like that. I don't know. Anthony Joshua, I didn't know all that other stuff about the other fighters he fought, but you're told in the contract you can't win. You have to lose. Even if you have a clear opening, don't take it.
There are rumors out there allegedly that the judge for the Diddy trial has issued a warrant for Ellen DeGeneres' arrest. Now, I'm not exactly sure if this is true or not, but the rumors about Twitch. And Twitch was somebody that won So You Think You Can Dance. And then he was the DJ on the Ellen DeGeneres show. And some say that he knew information about what was going on at the Diddy parties with Ellen. And then he just suspiciously took his own life in a hotel room down the street from where he lived. It wasn't far from his home where his wife and his children lived. And apparently he had no issues at all that she knew about when he took his own life in that hotel room. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, that there's an issue for Ellen's arrest, or maybe they just gave her a summons to come in and testify. But it's very suspicious that she doesn't live here anymore. She spent all that time with him. She went to the after-hour parties. Her DJ passed away I think he wasn't even 40 years old. What do you think of the comments? What do you think? Tell me.
Oh my goodness. Like Simon Cowell.
There's a temple in India that is one of the most confusing places I've ever seen where people describe its mass and like how it's made. It was carved out of a mountain. The whole temple was entirely carved out of a mountain. It wasn't built. They removed the mountain and created this insane, like very symmetrical, incredibly intricate temple. It doesn't show any chisel marks on it. It's like hundreds of millions of tons of rocks have been removed. That thing. Bro, have you ever seen that?
No, I have not.
Dude, I
seen
watched
that.
a whole YouTube documentary on it last night. What is it called again? Kalisa Temple. Dude, it's fucking bananas.
Wow.
So they think it was made, it says 6,000 years
So
ago?
it's chiseled out of rock.
8th century is what I was just reading before.
I thought it was like much more recent.
That's
it's like,
tough.
It's like, they think it's 2,000 years old, right? Is that what they think it is? How old do they think? Okay, 756 to 777 current era. So that's like the year 773. So it's even less than 2,000 years old.
Yeah.
So they think. I don't know how they know this, but whatever they know, whoever fucking made it, how? Whoever 2,000 years ago made this, fucking how? See if you can, Jamie. See if you can find a video on it where they can they describe it or they go through it, dude. It's nuts. The video I was watching last night on YouTube, my jaw was open. I was like, this is crazy.
Wow.
It's so detailed. And when you think about the sheer effort of making this, and if one person fucks this up, this whole project's ruined because you're not building it. You're carving it out of the mountain. You can't recarve. And they did it perfectly. It's nuts, man. It's really, truly nuts.
You got to plan ahead with that.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
But how did they do it so well? I mean, how is it so beautiful? How is it so symmetrical? How did they, who fucking asked for this to be built? How long did it take? This is nuts, man.
Fuck.
This whole
I don't
thing
know.
It's so impressive. It's so impressive. Almost more impressive than some of the stuff from ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
Because it's all one piece of stone. The whole thing.
So the CIA actually came out and admitted that they erased and rewrote some of our history. And that history is of the Tartarian Empire. So Tartaria was thought to be a global and technologically advanced civilization that existed way before the 1800s up until the 1900s, where it was wiped out by a Great Reset, aka the Mud Flood. Then it was completely erased from the history books and rewritten in order to hide us from the truth. Now, I know this sounds crazy, and you're probably already running to the comments to call me some name, but I brought the receipts. Comes directly from the CIA's website. It was released in 1957. The Central Committee of the Communist Party issued a directive ordering the party's Tartar Provincial Committee to proceed to a scientific revision of the history of Tartaria. In other words, Tartar history was to be rewritten. Let us be frank, was to be falsified. I don't know if I'm saying Tartar right. And why would Tartaria be depicted in old world maps if it wasn't a thing? And Putin actually wants to release the real history of Tartaria. Now take a look at some of these buildings. We were told that these were built by people that rode in horse and buggies. We're expected to believe that they built things like this with a hammer and a chisel. Like, even if scaffolding was a thing, the precision, the accuracy. These people were way more advanced than we give them credit for. Like, these buildings are said to have been built in the 1800s. And just look at some of these inventions that they had. The math ain't mathin'. Now, this civilization was thought to have been wiped out by a huge flood that buried it in feet of mud, which was also known as the Mud Flood. And that is why we see so many buildings that look like they have just been buried, or that have basement windows and doors. And this would be kind of a stretch if they didn't dig up the buildings and find that they were in fact buried. That fact alone just blows my mind because I see buildings like that all the time, and now I wonder how far down they actually go. And it also makes me wonder if all of the underground tunnels have something to do with this buried empire. And I know you're probably wondering, like, why the heck would they hide this from us? But it was thought that Tartarians actually knew how to harvest free energy from the Earth's magnetic field, or ether. The pillars are thought to be energy conductors. And the pointy things that you see all over them are actually antennae. Also thought to be the reason why a lot of them have gold tops. Now, I know that part is just a theory, but think about it. Electricity is all around us. What do you think lightning is? What do you think static electricity is? There is definitely a better way to harness energy besides slaving over fossil fuels. We are living in the Lorax. Now on that note, I'm going to leave you with one more thought. Who are these doors built for?
What's that? Oh, a group of people that were testing new AI glasses went to a nearby zoo in San Diego, and what they saw completely freaked them out. Tell me more. Yeah, this group of researchers were testing out these AI glasses to just verify that they're working properly, that they can identify animals, give you information about them, things like that. This is where it gets a little bit eerie, because when they looked at these animals, such as they were looking at a tiger, it did not look like a tiger. It looked, what they said, like some sort of weird demonic creature. And then they asked the AI, what am I looking at? And it identified it as a scary demonic creature. Okay. The AI responded, this does not look like anything from Earth and looks like something from the spiritual realm, which you are now looking at. I love that. But the way that this creature was looking at them freaked them out, and it started to move slowly closer to them. So they left the zoo in a hurry. Oh, goody.
This is why fast food is getting worse. So a company called Leprino Cheese controls 85% of the cheese in the United States and provides the same exact mozzarella for Domino's, Pizza Hut, Papa John's, and Little Caesars. Cisco is the largest food supplier in the entire world, providing frozen food that is reheated by over 600,000 restaurants, bars, and other venues. So much so that many restaurants will offer the same exact item packaged differently, like molten lava cakes or spinach and artichoke dip. Lamb Weston is responsible for about 80% of the fries for companies like Popeyes, McDonald's, and Burger King. The only difference is in the cut and the oil, but otherwise the potatoes are exactly similar. Even the cheesecake you get from many sit-down chain restaurants like Red Lobster come from the Cheesecake Factory themselves, who, despite providing desserts for hundreds of chains, coincidentally is one of the only restaurants of scale that actually makes all their food in-house from scratch. So next time you go out to eat and feel unsatisfied with your food, just know you're justified because it's all frozen from the same exact place. We lost the plot.
Whoa, did you hear what she just said? Let's replay that.
Seduced religious pious men and are steamed with 80 pieces of pizza.
Culture behind them is creepy, and they try and mask it as humour, but it's much deeper than that, as we all know.
But what gets me is the way that everyone's laughing at it in the audience, and she's even laughing along at what she said, that comment. Why would you even laugh at that?
A very toxic, poisonous culture.
This is very strange. Her recent post, I'll pop it there. She says, welcome back. What could that mean?
Have you seen MGK's latest tattoo as well?
Which one?
The weird thing on his neck.
Oh, the red, yeah, I'll put it up there, the red line. I wonder what that could mean.
And below the surface, it gets much worse.
Let me know your thoughts and comments down below.
7 things you didn't know about the Las Vegas tragedy part 2. And just a heads up, there are some very real photos up in here. Number 3, the cops actually hesitated before breaking into Steven's room during the shooting. He had a pretty solid reason though, because the guy had already shot 200 rounds at the door towards the security guard and struck him in the leg. So they waited for 8 more officers to arrive, and at that point the shooting had stopped. So when they radioed to see if they could break in, they said to wait for the SWAT team. The SWAT team eventually blew the door off with some explosives, and when they went inside, he was already dead. He had let off over 1,000 rounds into the crowd, and over 800 people were injured and 60 died.
I really don't see anybody actually injured.
This became America's deadliest shooting, and for some reason, I feel like no one really talks about it anymore. And even when I researched
They did sweep that right
there wasn't
under
a
the
whole
rug.
lot of videos compared to other incidents or even podcasts. There's a lot of weird facts and things that happen surrounding this, and some theories that kind of make sense. theories outside the official story. Number 4, a police officer let off 3 random rounds inside Steven's room after they broke in and he was already dead. After the SWAT team and the local police made it into the room, they found that he had taken his life. They did a sweep to make sure no one else was in there.
Shot 3 times.
And when they went to the second sweep, one of the police officers let off 3 rounds, but he said it was an accident, but no one was in there. That is verified, but keep that in mind for later. And number 5, they found 23 guns in his room, which is kind of a suspicious number. At first you would think, okay, maybe he was going to use all of them just to go crazy, but really that's a lot of work. He could just get a bunch of ammunition for a couple guns, or even 1. Keep that in mind for later as well. And number 6, they found a note in his room that had calculations like the distance from his hotel room to the music festival, the winds, and according to the official story, that proves that he had this planned. And number 7, there's a theory that Steven actually worked for the government and this was an arms deal gone wrong. It sounds crazy, but there's actually some pretty compelling evidence, and we're going to cover that in part 3.
Okay, here's another one for you. 1967. So not a crazy old book, but pretty freaking old. Most of you aren't even from 1967. The World's Best Fairy Tales, Reader's Digest. What if I told you a shocking number of the world's best fairy tales are either hiding things in plain sight, okay, with real magic that we actually can do, or literally telling us the truth about what has been going on in history. Half of these are about freaking giants, dude. Jack and the Beanstalk. Now, here's where things get weird. The Book of Enoch is not scripture, but it is a historical account. In the Book of Enoch, it says that there were giants. We also have found a lot of bones laying around this world, okay? But this is just what, so don't even call me crazy for talking about this, because this is what it says. So I'm like reporting on what it says, okay? 200 angels were sent to Earth. There's 200 giant impact craters around the world. 200, just so you know. There's not 300, there's not 900, there's not 100, there's 200. And interestingly, none of them are like this. They're like straight down. So none of them land sideways. I don't know. People said that maybe it's because we're on a flat plane. But anyway, listen. It is said that the Nephilim, these giants, were like meanies, right? They were sinful. They cannibals. Apparently, that's what it said. They sent down 200 angels to cut down the giant ancient trees before the flood, pre-flood, so that the giants couldn't climb the trees to survive the flood. Now, have you honestly looked at a tabletop mountain before? Like literally, please Google tabletop mountain. How did the top of this mountain, quote unquote, get flat? Very few things in the natural world, or, you know, rocks, like flat, it's fucking 90 degrees, flat. How? And there's a lot of them. And we also have Devil's Tower, which, I don't know, man. I don't think that just looks like a tree stump because of its shape and then it's flat on the top. The hexagonal cell structure of the rocks leading up to it, I just have a hard time buying that is from erosion. Hexagon cell structure is like plants. The question, though, where it gets weird is, was Devil's Tower a wooden tree that turned to stone? There's a conspiracy that people think it's not that it got petrified. It's that it was a silica-based tree because maybe the air was different back then or something, but there was like a different species of tree that was made of silica, like rock, like silicon rock. Otherwise, the thought of something going from carbon-based to silica-based being a rock doesn't really, the science is kind of shaky there. So anyways, Jack climbs the beanstalk up into the sky and fights a giant. Well, that's pretty weird, isn't it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
So, Chucky dolls. Seen those.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I don't know. Yeah.
What do you mean you've seen them? Seen them where?
Well, I had three different cases that had Chucky dolls in it. Some version of a Chucky doll involved.
What are the cases?
One of them was, one of them it was a single mom, and she just reported, and other people reported. So it's not just someone tells me, because who knows, but these are verified. But she was a single mom, and she went into the daughter. She was pretty heavily afflicted. She went into the daughter's bedroom, was cleaning up, and she would hear the Chucky doll. It was, a little doll with the pull string, saying things off script like, "Why are you leaving me here alone? Come in here and get me."
Holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll put a fear of God in you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what do you do with an object like that?
Scientists at Ukraine's academic Vernadsky research base in Antarctica recently released some footage that they recorded in late December of 2025, which was essentially filmed from a small camera that they strapped to the back of a penguin, a Gentoo penguin specifically, which is a subantarctic species common around the base on Galindez Island. Now, the footage provides a rare first-person view of behaviors of these penguins, including diving and hunting krill swarms, releasing trapped air bubbles from their feathers to reduce drag and glide through the water. They're flapping their wings powerfully underwater to essentially help them fly through the water underwater, preening feathers mid-swim to maintain waterproofing, insulation, and streamlined shape. And it's not sped up at all. It's this is real speed that's shown just to highlight the penguin's impressive natural speeds underwater, which Gentoos are among the fastest swimming penguins on Earth, who can reach speeds of up to 36 kilometers per hour underwater, which is pretty damn fast. Now, this work is just part of the ongoing biological monitoring that takes place at the station to help validate GPS tracking data on foraging patterns and contributing to broader conservation efforts for Antarctic marine ecosystems, like understanding krill-dependent food webs and potential fishing impacts and stuff like that. Apparently, Ukraine collaborates internationally on Antarctic research and Gentoo penguin studies, and it often involves sharing data or methods across nations so that way we can spread the information and build on it more successfully together.
All right, family, we're gonna cut it short, y'all. It's New Year's Eve. Go down, chill with the family. I gave you guys a quick 45-minute banger for the last video of the year, y'all. Let's make sure we leave a like, comment, subscribe, and finish on a great note. I appreciate all the love you guys have been. This has been a big year for me. We've grown a lot. I appreciate, it's a trip to see, comments saying, why haven't I never found your channel? I just found your channel. I'm addicted. You know what I mean? It means we're getting out there, y'all. I appreciate all my day ones. Don't forget, I remember all y'all. But, it's just nice to see we're finally getting pushed out into the algorithm, y'all. Slowly but surely. I have yet to hit the masses consistently. But I know once we do, y'all, we're gonna be the best out there. We're gonna be the best. At least that's how I feel, y'all. But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. I'm gonna get this video edited and up to you guys. Big goals for 2026. Building my second channel. Links down below. It's gonna pop up over here if you guys are interested. We're starting to do uploads up there, about 4 or 5 a week. So, big things, big plans for that. Big plans. Got a baby, another baby coming this year. Had a baby last year. Or this year in January. I got another one coming in towards the end of April. His first year birthday is coming up. A lot of big things going on this year, y'all. And I appreciate all the love and support you guys have, showed me and continue to show me. And we're going to continue to grow, y'all. So let's get that black this year. Let me know down below what you guys got going on tonight. Nothing much for me. Mama Bear is going to her family's house, her mom's house, or, have pozole over there. I'm going to go drop her off. I don't know. I just want to chill at home today, y'all. So I'm going to go drop her off because I don't want her out there driving and whatnot. So I'll drop her off and probably stop in. I don't know how late she's going to stay, but I'll probably stop by over there. She stays till midnight at 10 o'clock and chill with them for the new year. But I don't know. I feel like chilling at home, maybe walk on the treadmill, get some steps in, watch some YouTube or something. I'm just chilling today, y'all. I might go get a 6-pack of non-alcohol beers. I don't know. We'll see how we feel. But I'm going to get out of here, y'all. Happy New Year, everybody. Be safe. Get Ubers, right? That $10 Uber can save, tens of thousands or save your life, y'all. So make sure you guys get that Uber if you guys are stepping out, and be safe, y'all. This is Segovia. I'm signing out of the man cave. I'll see you guys in 2026. Later.